What's up everyone? Today I'm going to go over a few warfare builds that I like to play that I think have a place in the current meta that you can use to improve your gameplay. Some of these builds are technical and some of them are pretty easy to get the hang of and use classic Fortnite weapons, but all in all these are pretty powerful and stylish, and most of them are capable of taking care of your average TAC user. And we're going to get into why each of these is good and which ones are the best. These won't be in any particular order, however, you can choose to use any of them that you want, but I will say which one I think is the best. When it comes to your choice of ability items such as tactical or lethal, you can pretty much pick whatever you want. I opt to use spicy pepper just because it gets me in and out of situations quickly, and it also pisses people off. Being able to die and pop spicy pepper and get back into the battle really fast is a super good thing to have, and also to run away. Also, like, as soon as you start sprinting with it, you're extremely fast, and if you get enough kills to get the speed boost, you are super speed. So I just think spicy pepper is top tier, and you can use whatever you want. You can use grenades, you can use med mist is another one, you can use boogie bomb. You can use whatever you want, but I'm probably going to be using spicy pepper in most of these builds just because it's a staple for everything that I play. But without further ado, let's get into it. So first up we have Boombo TAC, which is a super top tier build, and I think it honestly has little to no drawbacks. You can kill people from long range, but it's even easier to kill people at close range with it, and paired with speed or any sort of mobility, it's just crazy. A lot of players struggle to go against Boombo builds just because the Boombo comes out of nowhere with these crazy shots from these crazy angles and stuff. And yes, you're getting hit from crazy angles, but it also takes a little bit of getting used to for the user of the Boombo to get those angles down. But once you have it, you'll be hitting those 200s and those 150s no problem. But if you're a little bit off, you are going to land that 100, which is not bad by any means. If you land the 100, that's where the TAC comes in. You can finish them off with the next 60 damage. Maybe you'll hit a below 60, 50, like a 30 instead, but you know, just shoot again because you can literally hold down the button, which is something that I have not paid attention to. I've always been click firing with the TAC, but I just figured out that you could hold down, which is kind of stupid. Just, you know, only enables the weapon to be more overpowered, like I've talked about. But this build is extremely good, and there's no way you can go wrong with it. It's just top tier. And it can get a little bit boring. I mean, it's pretty stylish and pretty simple at the same time. It is a pretty repetitive build, just kind of shoot, shoot, reload, reload, shoot, shoot, reload, reload, and that's kind of a lot of builds, but this one is really, really driven home with the you're gonna burst and burst again, and it's very satisfying, but when you main it, like me, it ends up, you know, getting a little bit repetitive, but it is the strongest thing in the game. And with spicy pepper, it just makes you extremely overwhelming. I've had a couple people on voice chat get pretty salty at the fact that I use the speed ability with Boombo, but I mean, don't hate the player, hate the game, son. I mean, what am I supposed to say, right? But yeah, that's about it for this one. It's super good. Use it. You'll thank me later. Whenever I tell people use the Boombo, they're like, what the fuck? I did not know this thing was in the game. And yeah, it's kind of weird. A lot of people don't want to use it or just don't know that it's there, but it is the most powerful weapon, like I've said multiple times, and paired with the most powerful shotgun, it's pretty much unbeatable. That's enough about this. Let's go on to the next one. So the next build is very unconventional and it's very expensive because you do need to get max prestige in order to get it, but it is one of the funnest support builds that I've created, and I really like using it just because it has everything. It's just hard to play. The build consists of Raz's explosive bow with the primal shotgun and the firework launcher. So with the firework launcher, you can provide location for your team and for yourself to get those snipes easily. And it is important to keep the location active because it just makes it easier for you to hit people. with the explosive bow. The explosive bow is really good because it provides suppressive fire for your teammates from in the back. You're kind of a backliner. You can also combo it with the primal shotgun. You can try to land a close range arrow and then finish them off with the shotgun, which is cool. You have a good burst damage close range. But the suppressiveness of the long range of the firework cannon plus the bow and the location and the explosive bolts, it's just so much stuff going on. And there's so much to the kit that just brings out the most insane potential in this kind of backline support build. The primal shotgun is something that's actually necessary because if someone comes up on you and tries to kill you, you can easily take them out by killing them super close range with this. You can even do some cool combos with the bow where you land the 80 damage with the bow in the body shot and then shoot them with the primal once and they're pretty much dead. Or you could try to do that saucy, oh, I'm gonna shoot you in the head with the bow and stuff. You know, there's lots of options. There's so many options. The one thing to keep in mind is if you're gonna be using more than 2 weapons, you need to have a slot open, because the way Warfare works is if you don't have an open slot, you won't be able to collect heals. It's a really weird glitch, but make sure you have an open slot. And just don't use a tactical or lethal. You can, but you won't be able to heal. That's the only downside because of the way the game mode is set up. Make sure you have an open slot because you want to be able to heal. With the way this is, unless you have someone with med mist like healing you or something, or you use your own med mist, it's really not worth it because collecting heals on the map is worth it. Just being able to kill someone and get that, especially if someone comes up on you, you can take them out and take their heals. That's really important. But yeah, definitely the most interesting 3-weapon build, super niche backliner build, and also super expensive. Not a lot of people are going to be able to try this, but you know, you can get close by... you can't really get close because there's not really any other way to test this, but good luck on your grind, and if you have everything unlocked, I definitely recommend this if you want to try a nice backline support build. Next, we're going to talk about the weirdest support build that's also technically another bow build, but it doesn't focus on bows as much. This is a recycler build. Yes, the recycler is super weird, and it's pretty cheap and easy to get this build anyways. I do recommend using the primal shotgun with it and just going no heals and using a 4-weapon build. If you've seen my other video about cursed warfare builds, I did use this build and you're completely unable to heal with it. The build consists of grappler bow, recycler, and the firework gun. It's pretty much the same principle as the explosive bow builds, but it only really works on deserted and other sort of maps, but I mainly use it on deserted. It's not good on every map. The other 2 weapon builds are decent on all maps. I know that the explosive bow build is not going to work on Atomic Town as well. It might, but it's just not as good. The first build I talked about is good everywhere, but this build is mainly a deserted build or a camping build that you can be high up with. The recycler is a really weird weapon because it launches these explosive balls or some shit. I don't know what to call them. But they have no splash animations when they land, which is weird. But it does 75 to the body and like 113 to the head or something like that. It's really hard for people to see when they're going to hit you. You can't even see the splash damage as the user. It's super weird to play against this thing. And with the location and the grappler allowing you to get on top of a snipe area and just rain down recycler shots, you're going to be getting a ton of kills. And the recycler is almost as good as a shotgun close range. If you can keep yourself a little bit back so you don't eat the splash damage of your own projectile, you can totally 2-shot people that are in front of you. It just takes a little bit of getting used to with the way the projectile arcs and stuff, but this is definitely another support build that's just super broken. Recycler has a lot of unlocked potentials that no one is really caring about right now, but it's insane. Anyways, that's enough for this one. Let's go on to the next one. So the next build is a classic, and my friend mains it, and his name is Bryce Arone on Fortnite. So I'm gonna call this the Bryce Arone build. So the Bryce Arone build uses the MK7 and the TAC. And for this build, you specifically want the med mist, just so you can camp in the back with the MK7, get people up close with the TAC, and if you take too much damage, just heal yourself. You can also support your teammates by having suppressing fire in the background or healing them with your med mist if you're that kind of person. But the med mist is mostly for you. This build wrecks when it's blue and when it's gold, so money doesn't really matter. You'll be able to wreck either way. If you're saving up, you don't even have to upgrade. If you don't care, just go for it. Upgrade that shit. This build completely wrecks. MK7 is a great weapon. TAC is another great weapon. And just the overall versatility of this build is super good. It's pretty basic and pretty newbie. It's kind of a noob cannon build, and it's just super basic and bland, but it's honestly a great backline support, and it does a ton of damage. You can see a lot of MK7 people are just completely shredding, and then they've got that TAC, but when you got the med mist, that's when it's really fun. You could run spicy pepper, but it's not as worth it when this build is going to be camping and healing more often when you have the med mist. You can really become a turret for your teammate. Anyways, this is a great build, and I hope you all try it out. You probably are if you're a noob, because that's literally what this is for noobs. But yeah, that's enough about this one. Let's go on to the next one. Now, the next build is more of an aggressive version of the last build. This is the classic Gold Scar and the Pump. If you can't afford the upgrades, you can easily just use the blue version. It's basically the same as the last build, where the blue version is just as good as the gold version in a sense, technically. This build is an overall classic for every Fortnite player, and you'll obviously do really good with it just because everyone knows how to use it. You can easily switch from the pump to the TAC and just do tons of damage. It's basically an aggressive version of the other build with the MK7, and that's why I recommend using the spicy pepper with it, because you can easily just go in, wreak havoc, die, respawn, eat your spicy pepper, and get back into the battle as fast as possible. This build has basically no drawbacks if you can aim. If you can't aim, it sucks. Honestly, it's pretty bad if you can't aim. At least with the MK7 build, it has, it's got some training wheels with the way the TAC works. But this build is for any of those Fortnite pros that want to just hop into Warfare and play what they've been usually playing. I recommend this build for anyone that wants to actually get good at aiming without suffering the pain of trying to use the heavy shotgun. But yeah, this build is definitely top tier. It has rivaled my Boombo build, but it's still not as good as it. Yeah, I'm saying that. I am saying it. Anyways, on to the next one. Now, the last build is the funniest build. I just came up with this today when recording this video, and I absolutely love it. This build is the most insane wild card wizardry. I don't even know what to call it. It's definitely some sort of like support skirmisher sort of deal. I don't know. But the thing about it is it's just super unconventional. You do have to use prestige weapons, which is a shame, but yeah, the build is Hop Rock Dualies and Quad Launcher with the spicy pepper, obviously. This build, you can even make it even more magical with the Rift Pretzel if you want. But the funny part about it is just how you're all over the place. You got your Hop Rock Dualies that allow you to have insane movement with the spicy pepper, just jumping, sprinting around, and that Quad Launcher, not a very good weapon, but when you're hovering around in the sky and moving around, it's easy to finish off people. You can just hit them with the Hop Rock Dualies, switch to the Quad Launcher, and just finish them off. The Quad Launcher is kind of hard to aim, and it has some weird end lag after shooting, so you won't be able to switch to the Hop Rock Dualies as fast, so keep that in mind. You'll have to train yourself to understand the end lag. However, this build is just all over the place. People don't understand how to really deal with it once it gets going. The reload times are pretty poor, honestly. The reload time on the quad launcher is abysmal, and the reload time on the Hop Rock dualies is whatever. But the gain that you can get from this build and just how surprised your enemies are going to be with how much fuckery you're going to be doing, the way you're flying around and all that crap, this build is ridiculous. And anyone who wants to try it out, you can easily substitute it by using the regular rocket launcher, but it's just not as fun because the quad launcher is such a ridiculous weapon. Just being able to shoot that many rockets, it is super inaccurate, but who cares when you have all this flight and zero gravity shit? I have no idea. But this build was super fun, and honestly, I think I might secondary main it because it's just more fun than any of the other bow builds I usually like to play. Anyways, thank you all for watching. I'm definitely going to make more builds and see what I can come up with. Most of these ones are pretty basic, but there's a lot of different combinations you can make in Warfare, and let me know what builds you use in the comments below. I'll see you on the next one. Later.